We are here with Dotti. She's an approximately 8-year-old stock horse mare. She is here for a week's training because Leanne, her human, is away on holiday, so we've scheduled it in, and just to reinstall some buttons. I actually broke Dotti in many years ago, and so I've long-reined her on the cooler lunge yesterday and did some in-hand work with her. Interestingly, her behaviour under saddle is far better than what it is on the ground. So yesterday I mentioned that she likes to shy at the jump wings and poles that are stacked on the outside of the arena. I am happy to say that her behaviour has been exemplary, and apart from side-eyeing them, she has not said a hoof wrong. She's feeling a little bit hot and distracted. She is in season. There's ex-stallion at our place. There's geldings. There's mares. She is definitely bouncing off with the hormones a little bit, but her behaviour under saddle is pretty good. So this is just a brief part of our warm-up. So for the warm-up, I've just concentrated on making sure she moves off both legs. I can move the shoulders. I can move the hindquarters. Making sure she's soft off each rein. When I'm happy that she's moving off each leg evenly, then I bring her around to walk her over the poles. So I've set the poles up on a circle so that we can walk, trot and canter over them. Starting off with the walk, she's got quite a nice active walk. She's nice into the contact. I am actually trying a different bit on it today. I'm trying a double jointed bit on it today. It's still an egg butt, but it's got a double joint, not a single joint, so it doesn't have that same nutcracker action. I've still taken the drop noseband off. I'm riding her without the drop noseband because she does tend to like to lean on the bit and lean into your hands, and so my solution is to soften things up when they do that. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't, but where horses are concerned, they can't tell us if they're comfortable or not comfortable, so you can just try to read the signs and adjust what you're using or what you're doing. So she's stepping nicely over the poles in the walk. So I'm going to bring her into trot now. Well, like using poles because it gives them something to concentrate on, especially in this situation where Dotti is quite distracted by the other horses. This is actually mostly in the paddock and on the ground, not under saddle as it turns out, but I didn't know that until I got on her. So using the poles is helping to engage the hindquarters, engage the lumbar, lift up the thoracic sling, lift her back up underneath of me. There's our very helpful boxer. There's our little wolfhound cross mastiff. And so you can see there's a nice swing through her body with the trot. She does still definitely want to be a little bit more on that right shoulder. So I've had to continuously rebalance her and get her off that right shoulder, so she is a little bit more difficult on this side, but she is definitely up and connected. So this is carrying on from our session yesterday in the cooler lunge, and I'm now testing her past the apparently scary jump wings. As you can see, she's not bothered, and then down over the 3 poles in the centre. She did run a little bit through that, but I'll just do a couple of figure of 8s over those poles and get that connection. I love that Mika's tail is and there's the head. It's always good to rebalance steady, ride a little half halt. You can do some transitions within the pace to rebalance them. Dotti is the kind of horse which you will see in the Canter where she will just come to a raging transition to walk or even sometimes hold. Like she'll just like almost, her body back will drop out from under you. This isn't something that she's doing with me in Trot, but she absolutely did it with me in Canter. But I am very happy with the rhythm and tempo and the connection that she's giving me with this trot pole work that we're doing. I've kept our training fairly simple for today, but the trot all went quite smoothly, doing some leg yielding. It's when we went into the canter that things got a little bit interesting. So I like to incorporate some lateral work into the pole work to keep things interesting. There's no value in your training of just putting her over the poles 15 times without trying to develop the paces with using the poles. And lateral work obviously helps engage the hindquarters, gets her carrying herself in a more uphill frame. So she's nice and balanced in her trot work. It's actually quite pleasant and easy for me to ride, feeling quite straight in each direction. That was good. Alright, now I'm going to ask for canter and see if we can do some canter poles after I warm her up. Yep, on the circle line. That's what I'm talking about with her just melting out from under you and not staying engaged and connected in the canter. However, while the poles do increase the degree of difficulty, they do actually help to keep the hindquarters engaged once she lifts her back up. So this was a little bit of a process to get her to lift her back up and engage. Now this is something she does without the canter poles, which is why I wanted to use the canter, to utilize the canter poles. So you'll see that our hindquarters swinging out, she's dropping her back, she's against my hands in the contact. So I'm just going to yield her out here to canter. And again, I'm trying to keep the shoulders in front of the hindquarters, keep my legs on, let her place her legs herself, and keep her straight on that line that she's traveling on. So that curved line, I want her body from pole to tail to be following that curved line that she's traveling on, which she is not that amused about, good girl, doing. That was hard work, but she complied. Okay, this direction was much more difficult. So you'll see that she keeps swinging her hindquarters out. We have not recorded all of the work that we did on this side. So I did do a warm-up circle like I did on the other side. But there you'll see she wants to throw her shoulders to the right and swing her hindquarters to the left. So that little jump is her becoming disunited or attempting to do a flying change. Then she falls out from under me. We become not straight, which means she's not following that curved line that she's traveling on. And she's actually most either making those transitions herself or coming back to trot and wanting to run on. So then I'm steadying her back to walk. So my big battle is keeping her straight, literally straight on this curved line. And it's interesting because this isn't behaviour she was exhibiting in trot. However, remember, when they're not straight, they're losing power. So now you'll see I'm actually I'm riding a little bit of quarters in because I can't keep control of the hindquarters because she wants to throw the shoulders to the right and send the quarters to the left, which is where I rode quarters in to try and get control of them. And also if she's throwing her hindquarters to the outside, she's going to pick up the wrong canter lead. And there you'll see she's just running into the canter. And she is more than capable of doing a walk canter transition. So this side was like quite hard work. And otherwise I'd get like one pole and then she would protest. So I'm not editing, I've edited out some of the crappy bits of this training session. Whoop, there we go. Because I'm trying to keep this video fairly succinct, but I am more than comfortable showing off some of the poorer parts of the training because this is how we train our horses. It's not always perfect. In order for her to improve, she has to make these mistakes so that I can correct them. Good job. Now, see that the hindquarter swung straight out. She's back to trot because she's not straight. She's not staying in front of my leg. That is getting better because I'm starting to get more control of the hindquarters and the shoulders. And when you think about it, you break your horse into 3 quadrants. So it's the head and neck, the shoulders, and the hindquarters. So I can turn the head and neck as much or as little as I want, but that's not going to dictate where the body is going because the shoulders are what's attached to the front leg. And then if the hindquarters start swinging out like a pendulum, then that's going to affect the shoulders. That can affect the shoulders as well. Good transition. Okay, I'm starting to get more control here. Nope, wrong canter lead. Take it back. And that's because she's throwing her quarters out and pushing down onto her inside shoulder. So this side was definitely a battle. And so I've deliberately turned her on the smallest circle there because I'm not able to keep control of where her body is going on the larger circle. So I thought if I put her on a smaller circle and bring her around and try to do the poles in a more individual manner, because once the hindquarter starts getting out, I lose control, I lose impulsion, I lose the connection. So it's not just a matter of making her go faster. That's not going to work. She has to actually be straight. And this is something I was working on the long reins in the cooler lunge yesterday. And so now you can see that I have got her more into my outside rein. I've got the hindquarters following the shoulders. She's staying straight on that circle, and hallelujah, we can actually canter a 20-meter circle and stay in canter and incorporate the poles. That was a lot of hard work. And so you'll see I'm bringing her in off the circle to bring her back to trot.